you are going to be better at working harder for longer because of this breathing technique, using that oxygen. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Holly if you're new, and today I want to talk about breathing while you run, how to make that easier, how to make it feel better while you're out there running. Especially for you guys who are newer to this, we know how uncomfortable the beginning stages can be. It's why a lot of people quit very soon into trying to run. It's just uncomfortable. Everything hurts. Oftentimes you're asking yourself, am I hurting myself? Am I injuring myself by trying to do this? And on top of everything, there's just this sensation that you cannot catch your breath. So here's the plan for today's video. First, I'm going to teach you how to breathe this way. Secondly, I'm going to tell you how to implement it into your training so it doesn't feel overwhelming to practice this, but how to kind of work it in small chunks and then watch it just start to work for you and then lead you to so many great things in your running. And lastly, I'm going to explain all the benefits of this type of breathing, not just in your running, but in your everyday life. The best way to learn this breathing technique is going to be on your back, laying down at total resting heart rate. It's going to be the easiest way to feel this breathing technique without it being overwhelming to your body, and at a high heart rate, it's much harder to sustain this type of breathing. I really like doing this actually before bed when I'm trying to calm the nervous system. It really helps me fall asleep. So I'm going to have you guys follow along with me here. We're going to lay on our backs, and we are just going to put one hand on the stomach, like mid-stomach, right at the belly button, and one hand on your chest. And all you're going to do here is start to take a couple normal breaths, just easy normal breaths, how you normally would. Don't even think about it. And we're just going to just calmly kind of settle here. All right, so you're kind of feeling the rise and fall of the chest and stomach, nothing too dramatic, but you're feeling kind of the breathing through the hands. So what I want you guys to do now is I want you to close your mouth. And I want you to think about inhaling as slowly as you can. In that slow inhale, I want you to think about the rise of the chest, the rise of the stomach, and then the lowering of the stomach and the lowering of the chest. And we're just going to try that together. It might not go perfectly, but it's just something to practice here. So I'm going to close my mouth and I'm going to go for that breath. I'm going to think about not lifting my chest and stomach, but just letting it naturally fill up with air and focusing on a slow, slow breath as much as I can on that inhale, being patient with it, and then exhaling normally through the mouth this time. So I'll go big inhale with my mouth closed. And then open the mouth, just let it exhale. So already, if you guys have your hand on your chest still, you should almost feel your heart rate starting to slow already with just the practice of those couple of breaths. Let's go one more together. Fill up as big as you can. Just really slow, really increase how long you can sustain that inhale for, and then exhale through your mouth or through your nose, however you choose. So one more time. And relax. Good. I'm going to sit up and talk to you guys. You can keep practicing that if you want. So what I'm teaching you right here is that if we use our diaphragm to really increase the value of each individual breath, we get so much more out of our breathing, especially in exercise. So when the heart rate comes up when we're exercising and we start to get panicky and it feels like just this shallow, trying to catch your breath breathing, we feel like we can never quite get enough. When we slow things down or work more efficiently on every inhale, we have more access to more oxygen, and the slow nature of that inhale can also help lower our heart rate, making it feel like we're working less hard during that exercise. So now that we have the basics, you guys, I'm gonna have you stand up or just come upright, at least in the seated position, and we're gonna practice it one more time. Same thing with the hand on the chest and the stomach. And I want you guys to feel what this is like upright, because that's what we're going to be doing obviously when we're exercising, moving, running, whatever. So right here, we're just going to try again. Mouth is closed. We're going to take that slow inhale and blow it out. Try to get every bit of air out. One more time together. Big inhale. Out. All the way out. I'm going to take this moment to say, If you guys have blocked nostrils, deviated septum, etc., I get that comment or response a lot to this type of breathing. There are ways to still practice breathing slower and a little bit more efficiently to the best of your ability. It might even mean minimizing the amount of air coming through your mouth, but finding a way to just slow and increase the productivity of each breath. There are definitely complications there if you are actually physically blocked nasally, so I understand that, but do your best in slowing down the breath. So we're starting to get comfortable with this. You're understanding what I'm talking about. We feel like the diaphragm's involved now. Maybe it didn't feel involved before. And we compare this to how we normally feel maybe on minute 2 of a hard push, a hard sprint or something, where we're like trying to catch the breath and nothing's really settled in the inhale or the exhale. We just feel like we're in this no man's land, begging our heart rate to come down. Now we're starting to understand this deeper level of breathing, and hopefully you're already feeling how much lower your heart rate is as you implement this. I actually feel calm and like tired almost just from that little bit of practice. And that's why I said it's great before bed. So we're gonna take things up to standing now if you're not already, and we're gonna give this little practice in the run. Okay, so even if you guys are in, barefoot, socks at home, whatever, you can still do this with me. We're gonna take a small little jog in place to practice elevating the heart rate and trying to breathe this way at the same time, just so you can kind of get a little intro to what I'm talking about right here. So with me, guys, we're just gonna take a really light, kind of lazy jog in place. We're just gonna do this for a couple seconds. You'll start to feel the heart rate come up a little bit. Try to relax those shoulders, kiss those heels to the ground. All right, and together, all I want you to do is close the mouth just for a tiny bit and try to give me a 2-second inhale, nose only. And exhale, normal. Okay, we're gonna do one more time like that. Close the mouth, 2-second inhale. And exhale normally. And now for comparison, you guys are still jogging with me. I want you to take 5 super quick chest shallow breaths. Just like this, almost like you're panicking in water. And go back to normal, just jogging. You can already probably feel how much higher your heart rate is in that shallow breath than it was in that slow inhale. Let's go one more time with the slow inhale, 2 seconds in, nose only, and out. Good, and keep jogging, and rest. Okay, so what my point is here is that you can see the benefit of the slower breath. It is going to feel a little panicky the higher your heart rate gets as you're going into that run and you try to bring one of these breaths in. At the beginning, it is going to feel like you're drowning. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that is how it starts. It very quickly gets easier and very quickly starts to show you how it's benefiting you. So if you feel like you cannot catch your breath as you try to implement one of these breaths when you're running, that's supposed to happen, and it's why we're gonna practice it very safely. I'm gonna tell you exactly when and how to bring this into your running. But I wanted to show you just in place that little jog, controlled environment, how much more beneficial even one of those nose breaths is compared to the heaving and hoeing, of that shallow breath that doesn't seem to do much. So we've got the technique, we know what we're doing now. How do I want you guys to go implement this into your training so that one day you can nose breathe while you're running? First things first, I want you to use walk breaks to practice the nose breathing first. So if you are on a run walk program, you go out for 30 minutes, maybe you're doing 2 minutes run, 1 minute walk. On those 1 minute walks, I want you guys to do just 1 or 2 of the nose breaths while the heart rate is elevated from your run. So I go for my first 2-minute run. As soon as I step into that walk, I'm closing my mouth to try big inhale and breathe it out, maybe once more, and then I go back to normal breathing for the rest of that walk and into the next run. What we do there is we kind of bridge the gap, and we have an elevated heart rate because we're coming off the run, but we're controlled in the fact that we're now walking, so we can trust that even if I'm kind of gasping for air on that nose breath, I am able to tolerate 1 or 2 of them and then kind of settle in. Once that's feeling more comfortable, we can practice eventually working a couple nose breaths in to the running sections. And the other place I really encourage you to practice the nose breathing is when you're doing any sort of incline work, any hill work, which you should be. So if you guys are walking on the treadmill on an incline, you're out on a hike, you're going up a huge flight of stairs, even up the stairs in your house, great opportunity to practice that elevated heart rate, but it's still controlled so that you can work on a few of those nose breaths. It's really a great place to practice it because again, you're not so high of a heart rate like when you're running, and you're not so low that when you're flat walking, you feel like it is a little bit of a struggle, but you can practice it and it does get easier and stronger the more you practice. So if I am on a 30-minute incline walk, again, I would say every few minutes, maybe every I don't know, 8 or so minutes. You take a few of those nose breaths. If you feel comfortable, maybe every 5 minutes you're doing one of them, just kind of working it in throughout and seeing the benefit. But that's another nice place to practice. So now the most important part, I'm gonna back all of this up with some straight facts. I'm gonna explain to you guys why this is going to work so well for your running and why it's going to work quickly if you practice. Number one, if you guys practice this breathing technique, you're teaching your body how to get more oxygen in per breath. That is going to make a world of difference on your heart rate, as I've emphasized. It's also going to help your muscles feel less fatigued as you go. We all kind of know that feeling, that aerobic threshold between sprint and distance run, where our legs are burning. It feels like we can't do another step. We're absolutely tapped out. You know, you're on the track. We all know that feeling from the mile run. When you get more air in, it expands how long you can push for. That burning sensation starts to ease up if we can get more oxygen in to help. So we're already helping the sensation of our body when we're running and able to push a little harder based on it hurting less. And two, you are strengthening your diaphragm to work more efficiently for you as well as your lungs. So when we breathe in like this and we really tell our diaphragm to work hard and we get those reps in, it then knows to do that so naturally. Same with the lungs. It gets used to that nice expanded breath and that becomes the norm. Without practicing it and always staying in that shallow breath, especially in our daily life over the computer and we're hunched and we barely have anywhere to go with this breath, this is what tends to happen in our body naturally. We can't ever get more because we don't ask for more. So the same way that we work muscles in our legs and our upper body and our abs, we are working the diaphragm in this way. We are teaching it to be strong and work for us whenever we ask it to. If you guys ever get those side stitches, that cramp in the side, feels like a steak knife is going in out of nowhere, this type of breathing will immediately remedy that. 10 out of 10 times, I guarantee it. It will turn off whatever is cramped up and clenching in there and let it release and relax and the pain goes away. So having that as a tool in your toolkit is massive if you struggle with those. Additionally, guys, and I don't want to go so science mode on you, but I think it's very cool for you to know that when you practice breathing this way, your body gets more used to having carbon dioxide in it for longer, which makes your whole system, your economy of breathing, stronger. You don't get so breathless so soon. You actually can deal with a lot more and you have that strength and resistance built into the diaphragm and lungs to withstand holding your breath or being without an inhale for longer, which is super important in feeling like you're not sucking air all the time, especially at the higher heart rate, higher speeds. If you guys are familiar with the term VO2 max, or if you're not, basically it stands for maximal oxygen consumption. A lot of endurance athletes, triathletes, they get this tested to see how well does their body use oxygen to produce output from the muscles in their sport. So when your VO2 max is higher, you are just a lot more efficient and can get a lot more oxygen in to work for you. I don't think you need to know more than that right now on that subject, but I want you to understand the direct relationship between how we practiced breathing today and what it's going to do for your running and overall exercise output. You are going to be better at working harder for longer because of this breathing technique, using that oxygen. Additionally, guys, I want you to know that as a beginner runner, the scariest thing is just not having control. You don't feel like you can do as much as you want to do. Having this in your toolkit now, an additional thing to use, means that when you're panicking going up a hill or holding for 20 more seconds on a run that you were supposed to do, you now can access that breathing to help things feel calmer and a bit more efficient so that you don't have to give up and drop to that walk right away. I think this is so important. I've used this breathing technique countless times going up a hill during a race when all I wanted to do was give up. I felt like I had nothing left to give. I remembered, oh yeah, I can do one of those nose breaths and give myself a few more seconds here to reset and lower that heart rate. So at the very least, I gave you guys a solution for those side stitch cramps. I know how gnarly and annoying they can be, and I hope the breathing technique helps for that. But on top of that, I hope I've shown you running is about to get so much better and feel so much easier. A little bit of practice goes a long way. Just stay consistent. There are people that go out and do their entire run only through their nose. It's pretty amazing. If I can clarify anything else that I didn't cover in today's video, if you guys want me to talk more just about side stitches, we can do that too. But let me know how this goes. Practice in little chunks, like I said. It's gonna get easier. Just stick with it, even if it's uncomfortable. It really, really pays off. Remember, guys, I have training plans available now. They're linked down below for a variety of races. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.